Adam Taxon here, talking with motivational speaker Jay Wilkinson, who is also the son of legendary Oklahoma Sooners football coach Bud Wilkinson. Jay is also the author of the very timely, for Father's Day time, Dear Jay, Love Dad, Bud Wilkinson's letters to his son. But we are talking right now about something else going on in Oklahoma, probably, certainly the biggest thing professional sports-wise in the city of Oklahoma. The Oklahoma City Thunder currently have a 1-0 lead in the NBA Championship Series against the Miami Heat. Bud, first of all, welcome. It must be pretty exciting down there.
Adam, it really is. The whole city, the whole state is truly euphoric. Everybody knows there's a lot left. There's got to win 3 more games, as you well know, and the Heat are very formidable opponents, but everybody's very excited.
Now, I have, the people who follow me tend to be pretty conservative, and there's a lot of discomfort with the NBA. It's become somewhat hip-hop, which most of my audience isn't too into, and the Miami Heat in particular. Not that any of the players are really that loathsome like some in the NBA have been, but there's a certain aura, a certain anointment to them, and I guess the LeBron James special about how he was going to go join Miami was very disrespectful to Cleveland. They're an easy villain. And, a lot of people, also the Trayvon Martin thing, when they did their whole hoodie tribute, that really turned a lot of people off to the point that they wouldn't want to watch the NBA. However, what I'm learning is that Oklahoma City is a team and a franchise that conservatives can really like. Maybe you could tell me if I'm right or wrong there. You could elaborate a little bit, because I don't follow it that closely.
Well, Adam, I think you're absolutely correct. First, the team has great athletes. They have a marvelous athleticism. Certainly Kevin Durant and Westbrook and Harden. These are premier players, and they're complemented by many, many other on the roster. But what pleases me so much personally, as you said, is that these young men seem to be very engaged in the community. They provide a lot of services to social needs, younger children, people in nursing homes, battered parents, and so I've been very, very pleased with the quality of the athlete that has been drafted by the management of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Is that a conscious effort or just a coincidence? Because obviously it's only a couple NBA teams are fairly small rosters, and only a few of them really play a lot. Or did they calculatedly choose good character guys?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely part of their philosophy and part of their process. I know Clay Bennett fairly well, the general manager. I've only met Sam Presti once, who is the, I guess his title is general manager. But Presti's background is he came from the San Antonio Spurs, and their coach, Brooks, was a player who had a long career within the NFL. But I do know, Adam, that management believes that you start with the combination of a player that possesses the athletic confidence and the ability to play and to compete in the league, but also that they have to be people of character, and they have to be very genuine. This can't be a phony quality, and so that's very much part of their game plan, and they've drafted extremely well, taking players with great athletic ability, but as I've said a few times, has the quality of character to not only be a great team player, but also off the court.
Let me learn a little bit more about Kevin Durant, whom many people are starting to consider the best player in the NBA, but a lot of people just don't know. Obviously, he's emerging these next couple days. What's his character like and personality like?
Well, again, a young man who grew up in the Washington, D.C. area, back where you are, and then he migrated to the University of Texas, and he played just his freshman year at the university. Obviously was identified as one of the premier athletes, and the Portland Trailblazers had an opportunity to pick him as the number 1 person in the draft, and they passed on a great center, Ogden from Ohio State, who, because of injuries, has never played. And so Oklahoma City at that time, the Seattle Sonics franchise, selected Durant as the number 2 player. He's a fellow, Adam, that by stature is probably 6'9", 6'10", that has the ability to run the entire court. Much of their philosophy is based, as I think all great athletic teams are, on emphasizing defense. And while he is a prolific scorer, great athletic ability, both from three-point range and driving the ball, he's also a phenomenal rebounder and a great defensive player. Having said that, he's also a great team player. He's learned to pass the ball quite well. And one of the things that's really fun and special about him is at the end of the game, his mother, I think, is in attendance at all games, but he will go into the stands and actually embrace his mother with hugs and kisses. And you've got to be a pretty strong personality not to be motivated and touched by that warm expression of love for a parent.
Well, we had something like that with a pretty prominent player here in Philadelphia who might have been a little more controversial than Kevin Durant. Allen Iverson, his mother was very prominent at games and clearly loved him a lot, even though she hadn't had the easiest life. And I remember Allen Iverson won my mother over a big time. Like, he scored something like 45 points in a playoff game, led the Sixers to a victory. And they asked him a question, and he said, "First of all, it's Mother's Day, so I got to start with that first. Mom, I love you." And he won my mother over so much with that interview. But we can relate to that here in Philadelphia.
Yes. Well, and I agree with you. That's a very that's an important trait, and it is a binding experience.
And, we'll talk about Father's Day on a different segment because your book, obviously, is about your father. Again, that's Dear Jay, Love Dad, Bud Wilkinson's letters to his son. We're going to talk about that separately. One final thing, because I do have a largely conservative audience. Tell us a little bit more about Clay Bennett and the ownership group for those who are not familiar with him, including myself. I don't know that much about him.
Yeah, well, Clay Bennett has been a leader in the Oklahoma City community for many years. By way of background, he's vice chairman of the College Football Foundation, and so he's been he's engaged with the athletic community nationally beyond just basketball. But he led the group of investors who went to Seattle to negotiate the purchase of the Seattle Sonics. And the history, Adam, was simply that Oklahoma City tried to get a National Hockey League team, and at that time the decision makers perceived Oklahoma City as not being a large enough market, and so they declined that opportunity. With Hurricane Katrina, the Oklahoma City management stepped up and they offered the Oklahoma City Arena to the New Orleans professional basketball team because they were wiped out for the season.
Sure, I remember that.
Could compete because of Katrina. And the expression and the support from the Oklahoma fans demonstrated clearly the capacity to have a large franchise here. So Clay Bennett led the group of investors to negotiate the purchase of the franchise from Seattle, but they also obviously had to get the concurrence and the approval of the NBA league itself. And so Clay was able to put together a coalition of investors who really put on a first-class not only presentation, but then the city has stepped up with just incredible support. The downtown area, there's been so much written about the improvements in Oklahoma City during the last 5 or 10 years. But what's been fun, Adam, has been the unification and the support of not just the city but the state behind these young men. And it's been a combination, I think, of superior athletes and marvelous management and the athletes together, both on and off the basketball court.
Yep. Well, thank you, and I remind audience members that Oklahoma is a state that in 2008, every single county went for John McCain over Barack Obama, for what that's worth. Florida may go...
That's right. All 77 counties, there were none. That's the only state in the union, Adam, that did that. So
yeah, it may be...
people are proud of that.
It may be a landslide for Romney, the way things are going now, but you can bet Broward County and Palm Beach County will still probably be going for Obama, though maybe Dade County may well go for Romney, too. It's a big Cuban-American population, but we'll see. Anyhow, good luck with the rest of the NBA Finals. I've been talking to Jay Wilkinson, author of Dear Jay, Love Dad, Bud Wilkinson's letters to his son. Thanks again, Jay.